What's going on, garden nerds? Today we are going to make a video that may be controversial, but it's actually something that I feel very strongly about. So at the end of this video, you may want to fight me, or you may want to be my best friend and come and hang out in my grass. Because we are talking about growing a grass lawn in the desert. I'm going to give you 4 reasons why you should consider growing a grass lawn. Are you ready? Let's go. What's going on, garden nerds? Here we are sitting in my beautiful grass lawn. Yes, I know there are some of you that are here just to tell me how horrible I am, how much I hate the environment because I grow grass in the desert. Don't you know there's a drought? Don't you know we live in the desert? Why are you so irresponsibly growing grass? That's what we're going to talk about today. If you are a hater of grass, if you think I'm a horrible person, stick around and listen to what I'm going to say. I promise I'll bring up some good points and maybe change your mind. But I will say this, I am just concerned about the environment and our water crisis as you are, and I believe that growing grass in the desert responsibly and in small quantities is actually helpful and a positive for our environment and our water crisis. So stick around, I'm gonna tell you all about it. I'm gonna give you 4 reasons why you should be growing grass, yes, even in the desert. I live in Mesa, suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. It's the middle of the desert, and I still have 4 reasons why you should be growing grass just like me. And if you are a fan of grass, stick around till the end. I am going to give you a few tips of things you can do to conserve water when you're watering your grass lawn. Things that have really helped me reduce the amount of water that I need to use to keep my lawn looking really great. Reason number 1 you should be growing grass in your yard is because it helps reduce the heat island effect. We have other videos where we've talked about the heat island effect and what that is. You can check those out. But a brief summary is the heat island effect occurs from being here in the city where we've ripped out all the natural plants, where we've laid down concrete, we've laid down asphalt, we've built homes, we have air conditioners running 24/7. All of that produces a lot more heat, and you'll notice if you've lived here in the valley for a long time, you'll notice that 30 years ago, when it was 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, it got down into the 70s, at least the 80s. But now, in the middle of July at 10 o'clock at night, you walk outside and it's still 105 degrees. And that is because of all the concrete and fake grass and all of that. It absorbs the heat in the sun all day long. Then the sun goes down and all that heat is still radiating, and it makes it extremely hot all the time, not just during the day, but at night. Grass does the opposite. Grass and plants have a cooling effect, and it actually helps reduce the heat during the day and during the night. Now, if you don't believe me, go in the middle of July, when it's the middle of the day, go stand out in the middle of the street, or go stand out in the middle of a huge patch of fake grass. You can feel that heat radiating. It feels like it just got 20 degrees hotter. Then go stand in a huge patch of grass or a huge lawn, and you can instantly feel the cooling effects, and you can feel a little bit of humidity. And that's part of it as well. Grass and other plants bring in humidity, which encourages more rainfall. The heat island effect does the exact opposite. It pushes those rain clouds out and reduces the chances of rain. So that's reason number 1. We can reduce the heat island effect, which encourages more rain and encourages lower temperatures. Reason number 2 why you should be growing a grass lawn, yes, even in the desert, is because grass absorbs water, which feeds groundwater and helps prevent floods. Now, what do I mean by that? And by grass, it could also be any ground cover. The whole purpose, or the whole reason, or the benefits of plants and grass is what they do is they pull carbon out of the air and they put it into the ground. Carbon does not belong in the air. It's not good in the air. It is wonderful in the ground. And that's what grass and other plants can do. It can pull that into the ground, which enriches the soil and allows that soil to grab more water and retain more water. Now, if we look at places like the Midwest, where these farms have been farmed to death and they've been overloaded with fake synthetic fertilizers, those fertilizers have killed the soil. The soil is dead, it cannot absorb water. So then we see all these huge rains and things come through, the ground cannot absorb water, and we see tons of flooding. If the ground and soil were healthy, the ground would simply retain the water and we would not see those flooding issues. Okay, but with a healthy soil, which comes from growing grass and other plants, we're going to have the opposite effect. It's going to retain that water. And then along with that, at the same time, as I mentioned, it is going to improve the health of the soil. Reason number 3 why you should be growing a grass lawn is because grass clippings make a great mulch for the rest of your plants and trees and garden. I no longer fertilize, like actually go to the store and buy fertilizer and put that down around all my trees. Instead, I use all the grass clippings and all my tree clippings, and I simply throw that down around all of my trees, and I throw it in my garden beds. And what happens is that is all organic matter. The worms, the microbes, all the other stuff that's living in the soil comes and eats that stuff and breaks it down. And when it breaks it down, it releases that into the soil and creates a natural, healthy soil that in return feeds all of my trees, which grow all of my fruit, which feed me healthy food and my family healthy food. A lot of people say, why would you throw down grass clippings around your trees where you don't want grass to grow? Because grass clippings make grass grow. That's not a fact. I have been using grass clippings around all of my trees for 6, 7, 8 years, and never once have I had a problem with grass sprouting and growing where I don't want it to grow. Also, when it comes to saving water, which is what a lot of people who don't like grass and are still watching this and think I'm a horrible person, when it comes to saving water, using grass as mulch around your trees and plants helps reduce the amount of water that you have to use. If you add a foot or 2 feet of natural organic matter, it retains moisture in the soil better, and the soil stays cooler because we have that level of organic matter on top of the soil. So if you want a good fertilizer, if you want organic mulch, grow a grass lawn. You'll have all you could ever want. Reason number 4 why you should be growing a grass lawn, yes, even in the desert of Arizona, is because it traps dust, it improves air quality, and then allows a great play space for your family if you have young kids or pets. In the desert, there's tons of dust. We have the huge haboobs that come through, throwing dust everywhere. If you go and look on the asphalt and the concrete, it's just covered in dust. But go walk in your grass and you don't feel that dust. Grass acts almost as a natural vacuum or air purifier, just as all plants do. And it can pull in that dust and reduce the amount of dust that we have all around our house and all around our neighborhood. It gives a cleaner, fresher air, and then it gives a nice, clean space for your family to play. Nobody wants to play on gravel, which is not natural, by the way. Granite, go look in the desert. You don't see granite piled up 2 feet high anywhere. That's not natural, but nobody wants to play in a gravel yard. No kids want to go play on the asphalt in the middle of the summer. No kids want to play on the concrete driveway in the middle of the summer. So if you grow a grass lawn, also no dog wants to play in the concrete, but if you grow a grass lawn, suddenly your family and your pets can all come and hang out with you in a comfortable, clean environment. And yes, I know we are in a drought. We live in the middle of the desert, but because of all those reasons I listed, it is still, if you do it responsibly and if you do it in smaller quantities, it is actually a plus or a positive for our environment and reducing the effects of the drought rather than being a negative. Please know I'm not advocating to go and grow a huge grass lawn that takes hundreds of thousands of gallons of water every day or every week or whatever it may be. I am simply advocating for having a smaller patch of grass around your yard because of all the benefits that I listed. And then of course we need to make sure that we are watering responsibly because there are many grass growers in the desert that do not water responsibly. They are wasting water on a lawn that they think they have to water so much to make it look good, but you really don't. So let's talk about a few tips, things that you can do to save water and still have a really good looking grass lawn. The first thing is when it comes to watering schedule. A lot of people think in the middle of summer it's hot and I have to water my yard 10 times a day for 5 minutes each time. And if I don't do that, my grass is going to die. Okay, that may keep your lawn alive and it may even keep it looking good, but it's not a healthy lawn and it's not a sustainable lawn. What do I mean by that? I have other videos on watering in general, but essentially when we water our grass and we water our fruit trees, we want to water infrequently, but for longer periods of time. Why do I say that? Here in the desert where it's very hot, where the sun shines on the soil and heats up the soil, we want the roots of any plant, especially grass, to grow deep down into the ground as far as it can. Because what's deep down in the ground? More moisture and lower temperatures. If we water for only 5 minutes a time, even if we're doing it 10 times a day, the water is never penetrating deep into the ground. We're gonna have very, very shallow roots. That's not healthy, that's not sustainable. And if you ever forget to water for 1 day, those shallow roots are gonna burn up completely. Okay, but if we take the opposite of that, if we only water twice a week, but when we water for 30 minutes each time or 45 minutes each time, what that is doing is it's giving the water a chance to penetrate as deep down into the soil and into the ground as it can. And then we have nice, healthy, deep roots. So that's tip number 1. Stop watering so frequently and for such little time. Water more infrequently. I only water my lawn 2, sometimes 3 times a week. That's it. But I have deep roots that are where they need to be. And now the second tip for conserving water and still having a good looking lawn is to keep your grass a little bit longer. By doing that, you're not gonna have to use as much water because again, there's more insulation there. The longer the grass, the more insulation, the less evaporation we have going down in the soil. The ground stays more moist longer. So we want to water better, less infrequently, and we want to keep our grass taller, and that will help reduce the amount of water that we have to use in the desert when we're growing grass lawns. So those are the 4 reasons why you should grow grass in the desert. Remember, a smaller, more responsible lawn can actually have a positive benefit on the environment and the drought and us living in the desert. It is not always a bad thing. So if you are a grass hater, please reconsider. Or if you don't want to reconsider, just blast me in the comments below and tell me why I'm completely off base. But if you are growing grass, hopefully this helped. Hopefully this helped give you some tips on how to water it effectively. And hopefully it gives you some enthusiasm and you go out and grow something. There's never a bad time to grow something. If you haven't planted something lately, go plant some grass, go plant some trees, go plant something. It only is going to help you and help the environment. Thanks for watching. As always, if you have any questions or any suggestions for videos, please list them down below in the comments. And until next time, I'm gonna go play with Ollie on my awesome grass lawn.